Zachary Leo, welcome to Australian Musician.
Thank you for having me.
Musically, Zachary, you seem like an old soul in a young mind. Where do your R&B soul roots come from?
Uh, yeah, a little bit. I'd say huge influences for me growing up were Jamiroquai was a big one that definitely started that more kind of funk and soul vibe. But then, yeah, as I got older, Stevie Wonder was a big influence for me, and the Isley Brothers, massive, and definitely Prince as well. But that kind of mashed up with the Red Hot Chili Peppers and some more heavier bands as well. Kind of they all kind of came together and kind of shaped how I play and how I kind of look at melody and things like that. So yeah, it's a pretty I love the combo. So hopefully other people dig it too. But there's so many artists I could pick that definitely helped me, become who I am now. But those ones probably ones that stand out that I've definitely put a lot of time into listening to.
Yeah, it's all come together in your debut EP, Feels. Um,
Mm.
Tell me about the title track. Why is it the title track, and what's the song about?
Yeah, so Feels is it's the title track. It's basically the EP is a collection of stories that kind of led to me being able to fall in love and be vulnerable in love, and Feels is the pinnacle of that. It's falling in love, and it's that that kind of centerpiece to all those other stories that kind of contributed. And yeah, it's about love, it's about falling in love, being scared of falling in love, but yeah, all the other songs just kind of contribute to being able to do that, and that's how they all kind of tie in. But Feels is the centerpiece to the EP, and that's why it's the title track. It's kind of the pinnacle of that kind of theme of love, and the others just kind of a little stories that contribute to that.
Uh, in one of your recent Facebook posts, you said that the EP had been a tough process. What was the hardest part about making this EP?
Definitely, COVID made it really tough in terms of being able to get to the studio. So I'm pretty lucky in that I went to uni and studied audio engineering and production. So I was, after my first three songs, I was at a point where I really just wanted to get in the studio and do it myself and kind of save some time and money. And I knew how I wanted it to sound, and I knew how to get the sound. And so I was lucky enough that I was able to hire out a studio in Ferntree Gully, you know, quite a bit. Just book it for a day and just do my thing in there. But yeah, when COVID hit and the restrictions hit, I wasn't able to get down there and record. And it just, yeah, I think when stage four hit here in Melbourne, I had one whole song left to do. In terms of we had to record everything, so my session players still I needed them to get in, and I needed to get in, do guitars and vocals and stuff like that. And that was just the most difficult part for me, was just trying to finish it on time and stuff like that, and trying to get the mixes done by a certain point. And yeah, it was a massive challenge, and we ended up having to really compromise. We had to record the bass from over Zoom and had to do the keys over Zoom, and I had to do the vocals on just this Rode NT1 that I had at home, just on my crappy little interface, and I had to make it work. And that was probably the most difficult part, and being probably scared of compromising too much on the quality of the sound. But in the end, I thought it still sounded great. I can definitely tell the difference, but it's quite minuscule in how difficult it was to get done, I guess. But yeah, I guess when I talk about that, that's probably what I'm most referring to. That whole COVID period, not being able to record. But yeah, just so grateful we were able to get it done, and yeah, and now it's out, so I'm relieved.
But in general, what's the starting point for a Zachary Leo song?
Generally, in the past, from in past songs, it's generally on the acoustic. So I've got my Cole Clark Fat Lady one on the wall over there, and usually that's the first point. I grab that and get my voice memos up on my phone and start coming up with ideas. Usually, ideas hit me at random points in the day. I might be cooking my lunch. I might be, just sitting on the couch, and it'll hit me, and I'll have to run to my room and record. That's usually how song melodies start for me. But definitely with this EP and more recently, it'll start like that and then move to the computer. I'll create a Logic session and then just get a basic beat down and then kind of create the song around the beat and the melody. So for me, melody is the most important part of the song. And then once it's all kind of the beats there, then I finish writing it on the acoustic in terms of the structure and then get back on the laptop and kind of create um, a, close to a finished product in terms of the production. Where the guitars need to sit, whether there needs to be a Rhodes or an organ in there or that kind of thing. It's changed a lot since I was younger, but it seems to be a familiar pattern now that it's the acoustic and then onto Logic and then using the MIDI keyboard and coming up with different things like that. But definitely it starts on the acoustic, especially structuring the songs. It's always been working that out on the acoustic rather than trying to do it all on the computer. But yeah, that's the usual kind of process that I go through writing. Of late could change again pretty soon. Who knows, but yeah.
So you're using soft synths with the MIDI keyboard. Do you have any analog synths at home as well?
Nah, I really want to kind of get into that kind of path. My keys player, at his place he's got all the Roland's keyboards with the C5 organ and all that, and he's got all these synths, analog synths, and I think he's got like a Korg analog synth that we use on a lot of that we've used on a lot of songs, but it's at a point now where I kind of just try and emulate those sounds that I love from his synths on just the Logic stock synths. But I really want to get into the analog synth path because it's a new world for me, definitely. Dealing with how to get the sounds that I want and stuff like that. But it's definitely something I'm interested in exploring even more. Especially since this EP came out, kind of been really getting into a lot of music that is very synth heavy, and not just your standard bass synths, like a lot of like a lot of different stuff. Nothing comes to my head because there's so much new information that I'm coming across. But yeah, it's a good question. But I don't have any analog synths, but it's something that's definitely on the wish list during this kind of break for me where I'm writing.
Yeah. What about electric guitar wise? You got a fairly a clean sound. What are you using?
So for my guitar, I'm I'm definitely a kind of one guitar guy, and I on every song I use my 78 Strat. Yeah, I bought it when I was 15 from a secondhand guitar shop, and just put my paycheck in every week for like 2 months, like $100, and finally paid it off. And I've used that on every song I've played. It's just it's pretty, and it's a pretty basic for the EP. It was just using the clean sound was just coming from the Fender DeVille that I have as well. So it was just pretty much a little bit of little bit of crunch from the drive channel, and then just basically clean. And then a lot of the other stuff was pretty simple wahs and some pretty heavy overdrives that are in there in the back there. But yeah, I use my Strat for everything. I'm pretty much a Strat guy and not much else. So that's my pride and joy, and I definitely try and use it. Um, yeah, as it should be played. I try my best to play it as it should be played on the EP. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you use any pedals at all?
I did. So I've got for like the heavier stuff, I've got a Boss Angry Driver, or JSH, the Cross, the Angry Driver, which is just crazy. I just really crank that and use that for my super heavy stuff. A lot of the solos and stuff I used that. Sometimes subtly and sometimes not very subtle at all. But also lately been using, and then obviously just um, a classic Dunlop wah pedal. What else have I got? Yeah, it's pretty basic setup. A Qtron for some stuff, and yeah, pretty much got my drive, my wah, my secondary wah, and then lately I just got a new tube screamer which I'm using for the clean stuff just to emulate what I was getting out of the DeVille, but it's a little bit more bottom end from the new tube using the clean channel through the DeVille. Yeah, I wasn't really getting that with the DeVille drive, but yeah, slowly building it up, the pedal rack up a bit more as well, with some delays and stuff. But the EP was pretty dry from the pedal department. A lot of that was in post, a lot of the effects and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much the rundown.
So prior to COVID, were you playing live much?
Yeah. Basically, me and my session band were playing every week, basically. But yeah, the last show we played was I think the 11th of March, at the Toff in town, with a good friend of ours, Peach Fur. But yeah, we were playing every week, and we were getting tighter and tighter. And then yeah, we had a single launch show booked for March at the Catfish in Fitzroy, and then I think 2 or 3 weeks before the show, we had to can it. Well, I had to make the decision to can it, and then I think a week later, anyway, they contacted us and said, "Yeah, look, every gig's been cancelled." So then yeah, we kind of thought, "Oh, it's all right, we'll do it in July or something." And then and then little did I know that it would not be probably until next year. But yeah, itching to get back out, that's for sure. I'm yeah in the process now of going through my options in terms of live shows now that everything's opening up. But it's exciting that things are opening up again. That's for sure. Just miss that kind of live music scene, and just feeling the bass. Up in the on the floor and stuff like that. Just miss that kind of vibe. Yeah, so it's gonna be good to be back. That's for sure.
Yeah. You've got a great video clip for the song Feels. Whose house is that? It's got a great retro feel to it.
Yeah. So Brandon Carr, the director of the video, he also did the In My Head video, which was the recent single. Yeah, he's really into his 70s, everything, like music, furniture, decor, like everything. So he rented this place. He had this rental property, a really old house, and we shot the Feels video there. And yeah, every prop that was in that video was his, which is insane to think. But and he's as old, he's 22 like me, but he's just obsessed with it. And so I lucked out in that he was a talented videographer and also an avid 70s collector. So we had all these props at my disposal. And it was unfortunate that we couldn't shoot the second video in the house because he had to move, but we were lucky that he moved to a place that was just as fitting to the vibe that and we got to take all the props with us and I think we got to shoot a little bit outside in the second video, which was great. But yeah, so it's all his stuff. And he just, yeah, he loves it. He loves the 70s kind of era. And we tried, and it was literally to the point where if I brought, anything I was wearing on the day, we had to make sure it didn't have any tags or it didn't have any, kind of resemblance from anything from this kind of era. I had to make it very stock standard, generic stuff so that it could, at least come across as though it was from the 70s. But I liked that he was that into it. It was really cool. But yeah, Brandon Carr, my director, is to thank for all the cool props in the house and stuff like that. Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Uh, so, what are the goals? What kind of artist are you aiming to become in the long run?
I think I'm at a point now where I'm really proud of the EP and I'm really proud of what I was able to kind of write and create on my own and kind of independently. But yeah, I'm at a point now where I definitely want to try and establish my own sound and my own kind of image as an artist, and definitely don't want to be tied to any other artists that inspire me. While it's great to have inspiration, I really don't want to be putting out any copycat records. I want to kind of really want to try and do my own thing from this point on. So I think that's the goal, to try and create my own sound and kind of create my own vibe as an artist. And I think that also involves working with other people, which I'm in the process of working with other people from a production perspective. And I think my horizons a little bit, which is something that I think I need at this point. But I think that's the goal, just to challenge myself a little bit and expand, but also try and, yeah, find what's what's kind of unique to me as an artist and kind of enhance that a little bit. I think that's the goal for the future.
Yeah. So the Fuels EP is out now. What's the best site to go to for people to want to know more about you and buy the music?
I think if you want to check out any visual aspects of Zachary Leo, Instagram's the best place to go. But if you want to hear the EP, Spotify, Apple Music. I also have a visual player on YouTube where you can just listen to the EP and watch the set. It's pretty basic, but it's a kind of another way to check out the EP. But yeah, we've also got all the music videos up there for In My Head and Feels as well. So those would be the best places to check me out.
Right, Zachary Leo, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.